This is In the Black with T. Dallas Smith. Conversations with trailblazers, glass ceiling breakers, and champions for change who inspire and cultivate leaders every day.
I'm back in the black with Jay Bailey, the president and CEO of the Russell Innovation Center for Entrepreneurs, the world's largest hub supporting black entrepreneurs. Now, Jay, we talked about the impact that H.J. Russell had on our successes, but what does success look like for you and Rice in the future?
A vision of it's already happened. I remember when this was a completely gutted out building. My wife was living in D.C. because we're living between two cities. We didn't have a kid. And I remember sitting downstairs on the second floor on a dirt floor, wires hanging down. And I had this vision that one day there's going to be a family in Nebraska who has a dream or an idea or a business. And they're sitting at the dinner table with their entire family and they got to make a decision. That they know if they want to be successful, they got to find their way to Atlanta and they got to connect with the Russell Center. Brother, in February of this year, I almost had my heart fall out of my chest. To become a stakeholder, you have to go to an info session. And T. Dallas, it's only 2 hours of just information about who we are, who we're not, and our process. That's it. This brother rented a compact car, packed his mama and his younger brother in the car. It's February, drove down from Toronto through a snowstorm to attend the info session. And I brought the whole team together, T. Dallas, and I said that I know that we've not been doing that that long. But I will commit to each of you, and you have to make me the same commitment, that we build a platform that pays off the loan that young man just gave us. The belief in what we stood for, the possibility of what he just observed simply on LinkedIn and Instagram was so compelling to him that he drove through a snowstorm just to be in the energy of it. And I'm telling you, T. Dallas, I don't think we've earned it yet because we've not been doing it long enough. But that is my benchmark of when you talk about what success looks like, that there isn't only an option. There's only one option. If I look like myself in the mirror and I've got an idea or a dream, the game changer for Black economic mobility, to look at Black prosperity multiplied through business ownership, it is a no-brainer and it is a stop discussion that if you are in business in America and you're Black, that at some point you would have had an interaction come through or a part of the Russell Center, be it from data, be it from learning, be it from community, be it from just being in the room, those coordinated collisions where I might run into T. Dallas Smith and I'm in the commercial real estate business. But because I came to the Russell Center, this was the space where we came together, we had a conversation, and maybe that young you gets to ask you the same question that you asked Mr. Russell. And if we become that, then brother, I think we become this game changer, and it's not exclusively us. And I want anybody listening to know that I have never believed that one organization can really make change. Even with this in this building today, we've got 14 other organizations under one roof that are all working to solve the same problem. I got it from HJ. The collaboration beats competition every day of the week.
Yes.
And so how do we then become this nexus of collaboration, this hub that reaches spokes out to all the different organizations doing this great work? But when you're an entrepreneur, it's a very lonely, very isolated journey. If we could have a place that connected you to all the best resources, even if it's not just us, then we've won. That nobody feels like they're doing this alone. Nobody feels like they don't have access to the things they need to succeed. And we all have a fair shot at prosperity on an even playing field because the institution has carried the weight. The institution has been the leveler, not the individual. There's far more power collectively and together than one individual going after it individually.
Dude, I love it. So you got to tell us a little bit more about how can we come to an info exchange? How often do those happen? What do you need to do? Because as a board member, I'd like to come and sit in on one. I think that should be part of it.
So we are retooling because we've grown so much in number. We are retooling this quarter our programmatic offering because we need to be able to have more touches, have more impact, have more relevance, measure more metrics, data, and outcomes. If anybody's listening, just go to russellcenter.org. There's a button that says, I want to become a stakeholder. Click that. You get to be a part of our waiting list. You get all of our information. You get all of the emails. You'll be given the times and dates of when the info session is set. You have to go to an info session to become a stakeholder, but the first one will be in Q1 of 2024.
Dude, I love it. I hope you're listening to this. And if you're listening to this, pull over wherever you are. Write that down because I'm telling you, even like what he talked about with H.J. Russell and Company, let's say H.J. Russell ampersand and Company, T. Dallas Smith ampersand and Company. All I did, I literally copied him down to the ampersand. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, if you follow, H.J. put the blueprint out 70 years ago. And what we're doing now, thanks to your leadership, Jay, people can realize this thing as a real thing for them. We can stop having this conversation about affordable housing because you'll be able to afford whatever the hell or wherever you want to live. Because trust me, H.J. can live wherever he wanted to live, go wherever he wanted to go. First time I ever saw a Black American Express was in that man's hand. He asked me to go across the street and buy him a chicken sandwich. I told him, I said, HJ, it's going to take me about 2 hours. He said, what is that? It's right next door. I said, no, I'm going to get the sandwich and I'm going to go shopping. Then I'm coming back.
You won't miss it.
You won't even miss it.
But I think that is it, bro. I think this cost of perception is killing our community. And this notion of affordability, as I will always stand on, it's needed. But we're not having enough of a balanced conversation on the other side around prosperity and building and knowing that we deserve to be primes. We deserve to be at the head of the conversation. Yeah. Why can't downtown grow this way instead of always that way?
That's right.
And I think it's a different conversation, but it does take that mind shift that we talked about earlier, my brother. Proud of you, T. Dallas.
Man, likewise, brother. You know George Fraser.
Very
Fraser
well.
Network. So one of the things that he talks about, he says Asian are the largest employers of Asian. Hispanics are the largest employers of Hispanics. Whites are the largest employers of white folks. So if you're looking at terms of how we get our folks employed, we've got to create more businesses. We've got to have more entrepreneurs, really, to be able to take care of its own. And if we go back some years ago before integration, we did just that. Before there was any laws, before there was any rules that said anybody needed to treat you like with fairness. I think about T.M. Alexander, the insurance and real estate guy in the 40s.
Yes, sir.
When there was no law that said they even had to treat you like a human being, this man became a millionaire. Alonzo Herndon, again, same story. I mean, so we really have zero excuses to grab onto this thing called the American dream. So, dude, the epicenter of it for me is at 504 Fair Street,
Southwest.
At Southwest, get it right.
Southwest. That's what we're working towards, brother.
Yeah,
man, this becomes the example.
If you had to give one piece of advice to your younger self, Jay, kind of looking back, what do you think that would be?
Two things. Some of the best advice I ever got was from Ambassador Andrew Young. And he told me, son, you better make your friends before you need them. Because there was a time in my life, like my 20s, brother, I was in real estate. I was making money, but I had also bought into this narrative of the self-made man. Don't trust nobody, is you against the world. And I lived my life as such and literally lost everything. And I didn't know or understand, appreciate. Now, mind you, a number of losses, a number of things that were tragic in my life led to me probably being isolated. But the worst decisions in my life came around when I tried to figure it out on my own and do it by myself. And I think if I could talk to younger Jay or the younger Jay coming behind me that isn't Jay, it's around the power of your tribe, your power of your community, the power of solid relationships that will really propel you forward. I think if I've talked to 1,000 successful people, all of them have a story like you, T. Dallas, where there was this guy or this girl that I mimicked, that I idolized, that I learned from, that I was inspired by, and it wasn't just on my own steam, that I had to see my way to my next level of prosperity because I believed what I saw or could touch or feel with this person. And it's that, man, that you know, if I was 17-year-old me and I ran over the pastels and met a Herman Russell, right?
Yeah.
And attached myself, man, if I got to wash sweep floors or wash your car or do whatever, find those winners, find those special individuals that you know are not going to stand still in life and build relationships there, bro. And I missed that memo for a large part of my life.
You know, it's funny. So my first, you know this because you read the book. And again, I was grateful for you. I asked you to be the person when the book came out to be the one to interview me at the book release that we did right there at 504 Fair Street, because I knew in a lot of ways we and it's like we hadn't known each other that long, Jay. But I feel like we come from the same fabric. That deep down, I mean, once upon a time, you know, my ego was hella big. I think we talk about your ego was hella big. And God gives you that crushing.
Oh yeah, bro.
that crushing, that you know, that seed has to be regerminated, and you come back to this whole new thing. You're seeing things from a different light. I just want to say, man, I really appreciate you, brother, for who you are. And when I cold called Herman, I said this to him. I said, I don't know why. I'm not sure what we can do together, if there's anything, but I know if I'm going to be successful in this business, I need to be tied to you in some form or fashion. And his response was, call Noah Khalil. You tell him I told you to call. And the rest is history.
Brother, the power in that story when I read it, but then also you had the audiobook, so I listened to it as well, being told. It's what I've been telling young people forever, that inherently they're way more good people than bad. And that if your intentions are pure and your ask is authentic and your reasons are true, there are not a lot of people that will get in the way of you living your best life and living your dream. When Mr. Herman Russell, at that time, a millionaire several times over, heard the sincere voice of a man that said, I'm humble enough to say that I respect what you have done. I see myself in you. And I know that if I'm to be successful, I got to learn from some of the hard lessons you've learned, sir. Immediately, he said, you know what? I got you, bruh. Because he knew in his heart that there needed to be more H.J. Russells. He knew he couldn't stand what we were just saying before about affordability. He knew that he couldn't do it by himself. He needed to create a you that would then create other jobs. The name that you said was Noel Khalil. Noel Khalil didn't stay at H.J. Russell and Company, no. Noel Khalil went out and started his own company and created legacy that still stands, God rest his soul. But Columbia Residential and the properties and the vision that he cast still exists today, still houses families, has still generating wealth for his employees. And this is what I mean, that plant seeds. And so why I love talking to you, because you are the manifestation of the lesson that I didn't get until too late in life. Well, I can't say too late, but later in life. And he knew that, damn it, if we're going to make this thing work in this city, whenever somebody needs a dollar or a dime, I can't be the only black person in this city that they ask.
Writing the check. He was that guy for a very long time.
But if I could create 20 of them, 50 of them, then I've done what I'm supposed to do.
That's a fact.
I said it all the time. I had the honor of one of the first, it may be the first book that he ever signed was mine by a chance occurrence where Herman Russell, with his book biography, Building Atlanta,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Somewhere
yeah.
here.
The
And I
book.
was at his house in the pool room with C.T. Vivian and Herman Russell. They were doing a book reading. And he powerfully said that the only reason I wrote this book, I didn't write this book for none of y'all sitting in here. The only reason I wrote this book is so when my grandbabies want to hear their granddaddy's story, they hear it and they read it in my words. Nobody else is going to tell my story but me. Bro, I fell out my chair. I fell out my chair because it wasn't like he was a polished orator. He said it in the most authentic, direct, and I don't care what you think about me. I don't care what you may say about me. I know my truth. I know who I am, and I know why I did this. And that level of self-assurance where I can give T. Dallas a shot because I ain't scared of him. I'm not afraid that he wants what I got. I ain't afraid that he may get bigger than me. I'm secure in who I am right here enough to say that I'm going to do whatever I can to help that young man grow, and I'm going to give him an opportunity. Brother, it's a powerful construct, and we got to keep doing it.
And I shout out to G3, the G3 generation, the ones that's coming up.
G4 now, boy, they got
Yeah,
four.
yeah. I said, dude, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. Jay, any parting words you like to share before we wrap up?
I mean, I'll just lean into Atlanta, man. I just had a great conversation a few seconds ago with our congresswoman and a senator. Atlanta has the opportunity to be the most consequential city in America, maybe even the world for the next 100 years. For what we've done with our civil rights legacy, we changed the world before without firing a single shot. I think that we changed the world again by giving the least of these a shot, by creating the more T. Dallas Smiths, by creating more Jay Baileys, by creating more Noel Khalils, by creating more Egbert Perrys, by creating more Tyler Perrys. Like, we can do all of that here, be it construction or film or rap or banking or the real estate or all of these things. We got the corporations, we got the community, we got the culture, we got the colleges, we got the cool. I think that if we actually get this thing right, live under Herman's words around collaboration beats competition, we create the kind of distance that nobody will ever be able to catch up with. In Atlanta, we talked about the Russell Center becoming an epicenter, but our city becomes this undeniable magnet for everything that is good and forward moving. And I think we'll see it in our lifetime, brother.
I do want to make one other point too. When we talk about collaboration, for anybody who's listening to this who may not happen to be a Black person, the HJ collaborated with people of every ilk. In fact, Bob Holder, the two of them became very good friends, did billions of dollars of transactions together. So I want, when we have this conversation about collaboration, it may be somebody who looks different than you that can support you and vice versa.
And I think that to add to that point, brother, that's exactly it. To bring people to the table where a conversation with Bob Holder can occur. Or if you get the opportunity to have the conversation with Bob Holder, you're ready for the opportunity. And I think that I tell people all the time, the Russell Center, although we're focused on building Black businesses, it's not to create a moat around the building and say nobody else is allowed. No, it's to expand the conversation. Now they got to come to our table or they make room for us at their table. But we got our own table built and we build our confidence from there. Because again, to your point, this world is big, brother.
Yes.
And it comes in a whole lot of different colors.
Yes.
At the end of the day, we need each other. And when you talk about the African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. That together is a much broader statement than just one particular people. What our promise is that we create an environment and a platform to ensure, T. Dallas, when you need to go see the governor or when you need to go see the CEO of a company that may not look like you, you have the confidence, you have the readiness and the ability to capitalize on that opportunity because you're ready to take it down. It's more of a bridge than it is a moat. And how do we get bridges to these opportunities?
Hey, man. Hey, on that note, Jay, thank you for being on In the Black and having conversations about how we keep people in the black.
My man.
Love you, brother.
Love you back, bro.
This has been In the Black with T. Dallas Smith. To find out how you can change the dominant narrative in the commercial real estate industry and challenge the status quo to improve the lives of others, go to tdsintheblack.com. In the Black with T. Dallas Smith is a production of Forbes Books.